What's up, ladies and gents, Kknowley here. Welcome back to another Payday video. Today we're actually going to be taking a look at Payday 3, which, while still a long way out from release, is an incredibly exciting prospect for fans of the series. So, without further ado, let's have a look at the top 10 features I would like to see added to Payday 3. First and foremost, the greatest issue that has plagued Payday 2 over the years hasn't been bugs, it hasn't been a nightmare microtransaction launch, it's absolutely been how console versions have been treated over the years. Some of this comes down to poor foresight and bad objective prioritization, but I'd say at least in equal parts, running on the diesel engine has hamstrung Overkill immensely. Well, they're about to lose that excuse. For those of you that don't know, Payday 3 is being made in Unreal Engine, which means shipping console updates should, in theory, be an awful lot easier. The fresh start with Payday 3 gives Starbreeze an opportunity to win back that disenfranchised audience, which, let me tell you, is no small number based on my comment sections. We already know that Payday 3 is coming to console, and based on the planned release period, I'd assume it's coming out on PS5 and Xbox Series X. To me, it's essential that it releases on the same day across all platforms and has total update parity over its life cycle. By not having this in Payday 2, we've been left with a splintered community, frustrated console players and dismissive PC players that I don't think sympathise nearly enough. By receiving updates at the same rate, game discussion can be focused only on the content we have and how to optimise it, instead of 50% of the community being left to complain about what they're missing. Another massive benefit this could potentially bring with it is crossplay. Payday's a co-op game. There's no great advantage of playing with keyboard and mouse, so why not bring the community together as so many other great franchises are these days? To make all this possible, console has to be prioritised alongside the PC version, and Overkill needs to show real willingness to win back the trust of these players. Sticking more with the technical side of things, mods are important to Payday. It's another feature which PC players get to enjoy exclusively, and strangely, it's one that the diesel engine actually assisted in cultivating. My worry is that modding on Unreal will be comparatively difficult, so the guys at Overkill need to understand just how much this devoted subset of the community bring to the game, and assist them wherever possible to bring new creations over to Payday 2. A real pipe dream, but one Bethesda proved possible, is the accessibility of modding over on console. If this was achieved with Payday, I think it would be incredible. Payday 2 has had a wonderful run of over 7 years, but it's important to remember that throughout that period, the steady flow of mods is what has kept many players interested and involved for years. Let's make sure the same can happen with Payday 3. Now onto the meat of things. This had to be a feature I discussed in this video. I mean, the Payday story is really close to my heart, and how they continue it will be essential to my enjoyment of the new game. I think it's important that they have a direction from the get-go. Payday was a game about 4 fellas robbing banks, but due to the popularity of those characters, a demand appeared for something more compelling, but obviously complicated. Instead of the winding and sometimes inconsistent story with its many plot holes due to strange in-game retellings, it's important that the game releases with at least a shell of a coherent story. I'm not going to talk in this video about how I'd continue the narrative, but what I am stressing is that it has to be told in a better fashion. I don't necessarily think it needs a linear campaign or cutscenes to do that. I like how the FBI files work. The mission briefs also paint a good picture. What is needed is something that helps create an official timeline, and I can think of a couple of ways to do that. First, we need more environmental storytelling. The First World Bank newspaper is an example from Payday 2, but they can go so far beyond that if they want to. I also think the narrative would benefit massively from character banter and chatter. Have the heisters be more vocal with each other, discuss mission elements and even past heist events to give more context to everything we're doing and add even more personality to the great characters. A final suggestion I have is to make the heist loading screens more informative and detailed. When I consider a similarly off-the-wall narrative told in this fashion, my mind immediately leaps to how Treyarch have handled the COD Zombies campaigns. If Payday 3 could emulate that in just some capacity, we could be in for a treat as prospective lore hunters. Staying with a similar theme, Payday 3 needs returning characters. I've heard some great if outlandish suggestions on how they're going to do this. A prequel, a massive time skip, set the game in a different country or state. No, in my opinion, Payday 3 is going to pick up where we left off, and it better have some familiar faces when it does. Now, my current theory is that we will be playing as some of the core characters, Hoxton, Dallas, etc. But it's just as possible that these guys could return, but as contractors or associates to a new gang. Speaking of contractors, the likes of Vlad, Locke and the Butcher would be massively missed if they were to disappear completely, and even Bane could play a role, even if it's not the role you're imagining. There's a part of me that wonders if they may bring back the original four masks, but not their original owners, as it's the masks that are the keys to the game's marketing, and this was a motif quite prevalent towards the end of the Payday 2 story. I think this would be a terrible shame, as to some extent now, it's the voice cast that make these characters iconic, so I want to see at least the core heisters return in some capacity. There are plenty of ways to do it, and I personally think it's definitely going to happen. Next up, here's a change from Payday 2 that emerged over the game's life cycle. It's a game about robbing banks, so why is money worth so little? Ever since the skill system changed, money has been practically worthless unless you're totally new to the game. In Payday 3, cash has to be king. I don't think it should cost to reskill, as I believe that massively limited creativity, but it should have other significant value. How about tying it to safehouse customization, which I'd also like to see expanded upon? What about an in-game marketplace where rare and expensive weapons and equipment can be traded for that hard-earned cash? CrimeNet could become a network of thieves from across the world interacting. Tied to money and achievements, I think the game should also have some sort of leaderboard system. Those who grind out the hardest missions day to day should receive recognition, and this could be tied to lifetime earnings. I'm well aware that would be abusable by hackers, but that's why Payday 3 needs a more functional anti-cheat system, and another reason why Overkill should work closely with the modding community to prevent this from happening. Let me know how you'd make cash a valuable currency in Payday again. Now this is one that I've struggled with. I love Payday 2's RPG elements. Skills, perks and varying playstyles are what have kept me playing Payday for so long. But even I have to admit, at this point, it doesn't meet Overkill's original vision for the game. Perk decks were a great idea, but now they basically are just survival mechanics. This perk deck gives you more health, this one dodge, this one has armor. If we're being honest, they all do very similar things at their core. In fact, those that try to emphasize different playstyles or mechanics like Gambler or Hitman are pretty much at the bottom of everyone's tier list. Instead of working like this, let us focus survivability options in our armor and skills and make it so perks are truly unique to a heister's personality and skill set. Add new heisting tools that truly change how the game can be played. Just as an example, instead of the rogue perk deck, which is essentially Houston's, just being about dodge chance, it should play more into his skill set as the crew's ghost. Maybe running it gives you access to pseudo-stealth mechanics, the ability to blend in with police waves and execute close quarters takedowns. Or maybe it gives you access to new methods of map traversal, vent systems or back alleys, where you can't stay for too long or the cloakers will be on your tail. Obviously this is all conjecture, but I hope you get my point. The real benefit of this would be twofold. Not only would there be dozens more uniquely class-based ways to play the game, it would add a ton of personality to the characters themselves and make more sense when they're drafted into the gang for these specific skill sets. Another game system that's tough to suggest needs overhauling is stealth. It's fun in Payday 2, it's very arcadey and doesn't always make a lot of sense, but thousands of players play it exclusively and still love it all these years later. I just don't think it'll cut it in the current market without evolving. My suggestion to enhance stealth is underpinned on how cop AI functions. Right now, guards are about as robotic as it comes, operating on set patterns and without an ounce of common sense. This means that the pager system is a necessity to prevent players from just knocking off every brain-dead guard on the map and trivializing the whole thing. But if the guards responded logically to sounds, noticed movement or the absence of a nearby patrol, the limiting and slightly archaic camera and pager system could easily be replaced. Imagine a guard detects something at about 50% and then goes to investigate. You kill him with a melee takedown, a feature that I think would really help bring Payday 2 stealth into the modern age, and you drag his body to dispose of it to a nearby body of water. Except there was a patrol that had passed that guard 30 times already that night, so in seeing he's missing, he calls in for support and changes to a higher alert mode. This means that the guard will spot suspicious signs easier and is in active search for his missing colleague, meaning his patrol becomes erratic and switches patterns, as well as being joined by another guard. Not only could this present a genuine challenge if the guards worked in packs to hunt you down, a smarter heister could even leverage this to force the guards to focus on the wrong parts of the map while you are looting the now vacant areas. Basically, the mechanics stealth revolves around now are a product of lacking AI. If that's improved, we can enjoy a massively immersive and modernized stealth experience. As an aside, for both loud and stealth missions, I would love Overkill to add a little more puzzling to their objectives. Even more than that, why not add minigame interactions for standard objectives such as lockpicking, PC hacking, or circuit box rewiring? This would make objectives more involved and allow your less FPS ready crew members to specialize and still feel very valuable in a heist. This is another category I'd be interested in hearing some community thoughts on, so let me know your ideas in the comments. Here's where I become more certain that things need to change. Unlocks in Payday 2 are boring and sometimes a little bit pointless. Levels 1 to 50 go by so fast as the experience system is so top heavy, and at that point you will have unlocked most weapons and equipment and won't feel very accomplished at all. Also, the way attachments were unlocked in the base game before Continental coins were added was awful. RNG is never ideal when it comes to something like that. I have a few suggestions for features that could circumvent this. First up, weapon crafting could be awesome, allowing you to put together prefabricated weapons using money, components, and possibly stolen blueprints. Going even further with this, how about heists that allow you to go after specific equipment and weaponry for the gang to fill out their arsenal with? This idea came to me when I considered how the BCI helmet stolen in the biker heist was such a missed opportunity, as using the drone controlling tech against the cops could have been amazing. Well, Overkill, make up for this and let us steal that military grade tech in the future. I would also like to see attachments be unlocked with weapon proficiency, as familiarity with using the weapon gets the heisters thinking about how they would like to use it and see it customized in the future, and it unlocks the ability to do so. This would encourage players to use more weapon types, maybe try out different and fun playstyles if they got creative with the challenges, and would just add a massive amount of content to unlock even after you hit the max rank. Speaking of, leveling in Infamy needs an overhaul, but at this stage I don't have any great ideas, although the reward system definitely needs to be more robust. In terms of unlocking cosmetics, I think the after heist loot drop system is fine, but extend more of the unlocks to gameplay and challenges. Masks should absolutely return, but why not go further with potential customization? Let us use any colours possible, rotate and move patterns around the mask, and add new ways to make a mask more unique, such as battle scars and damage. Difficulty is another divisive topic within the community. Payday can be a tough game and should remain that way with a high-end skill ceiling, but the way Overkill goes about implementing that difficulty has to change. As it is, enemies simply deal more damage, have more health, and spawn in greater number the higher the difficulty. Nothing about that is organic. Instead of the hardest difficulties scaling like that, the focus should be on crafting evolving AI behavior and new unique enemy types to cause the gang a problem on the hardest difficulties. How about allowing cops to breach walls on all missions to make those safe havens not so safe anymore? Or use varying tactics based on how the crew is playing, sending in explosive experts to deal with teams that group up and stay together, or using encirclement strategies to focus down single players who stay out of position on their own. Having cops that make feints and try to bait teams out or use genuine police strategies instead of walking into banks like lemmings would be brilliant. I don't think I've even scratched the surface here. All that really matters is that difficulty scales in a satisfying fashion that rewards players with experience and an intelligent approach to the heist, instead of now, where those really pushing the boundaries of what's possible within Payday 2 have to abuse broken skills and mechanics to cope with what is a naturally unfair difficulty. Another system that would enable the addition of higher difficulties is a properly implemented cover system. Add corner peeking, blind fire, destructible cover, and suddenly Payday 3 will feel like a modern release and you'll have some more new tools to deal with those waves of cops. Finally, the last feature on this list is focused on how the game looks and, more importantly, feels. You see, Payday 2 looks like a 7-year-old game at this point, and with the switch to Unreal, I'm expecting good things. Overkill's The Walking Dead is not an ugly game, and that was put together in under a year in the end. With Payday 3's lengthy development time and the years getting familiar with the engine, I expect it to look great and follow the realistic aesthetic that Payday 2 had. Some of the artists working for Starbreeze have shown just how talented they are with their concept designs, and I can't wait to see these translated into a cleaner looking game, as I'm sure Payday 3 will be. I think more important than just how the game looks though, is how it feels and immerses you into the world. What I'd love to see is a huge step up in quality in terms of the little things, animations in particular. Add moving mouths, come on guys. Also add animations for interactions from both the first person view and in third person when playing co-op. Payday 2 is in many ways, like Dark Souls for example, an animation management game. Yes, it's a first person shooter, but at its core, it's about how you complete time consuming objectives whilst managing the ways of cops attempting to interrupt those interactions. That's why every objective interaction in Payday 3 needs to have a telegraphed animation in my opinion, not only to add weight to everything you do, but also to fit in with what's likely to be a more realistic tone. If Starbreeze can nail the look and feel of the game and the gunplay stays similar if just a little weightier, we could have an amazing game in our hands and one I personally cannot wait to play. Ladies and gents, thank you so much for watching this far into the video. I hugely appreciate it. I hope you have enjoyed, and I hope it wasn't too much rampant speculation for you. I personally would love to hear from you in the comments down below with your own ideas, some more discussion points, some things you'd like to see changed as we move away from Payday 2 and into the dawn of Payday 3. Now, for those of you that are aware, I am live streaming over on Twitch now. Follow the link in the description down below, give me a follow, and be sure to catch the streams live. They are a ton of fun. Thanks a lot for watching this video. I hope you're all excited for the next story episode, which is coming up very soon, and I'll see you all there. As ever, thank you very much to my Mean Infamy patrons and above. If you want to join that infamous club to see yourself in the credits or get early exclusive access to my videos, including the story videos, check out my Patreon link below. Remember, the Discord is open to all if you crave some more Payday discussion. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you all very soon for the next one.